going on, guys? Today I want to talk to you about balancing a nymph rod and what to look for in a good Euro nymphing rod. So first off, Euro nymphing rods are offered in a variety of classes. You have typically anywhere from a 2-weight to a 4-weight, 10 foot to 11 foot, some even a little longer. So when you're looking at those rods, a couple things that you want to make sure you're looking for. Now these are not all make or break, but they're things that I like to look for in the rods that I like to fish. So first off, what I have here as your example is a 10.5 foot 2-weight. And a couple things that you need to consider. When you're Euro nymphing, I really like to have a thinner cork grip. Thinner and longer. Why? Well, when you're holding a rod all day, up in the air, depending on how you like to do it, having a smaller, thinner tapered grip is actually nice and more comfortable over the long haul of fishing all day. Having it longer as well, oftentimes whenever I'm fishing, I like to use my forearm to butt up against there to help balance it out, and it also helps relieve any fatigue in your wrist. Other than that, it just makes it more comfortable for a longer period of time. Additionally, a compact fighting butt can be very useful in longer rods, but more importantly, it allows us to work with a rear-facing or rear-locking reel seat, and that's super important for a couple of reasons. Having a rear-locking or downward-locking reel seat, rather, is super important because it allows us to use lighter reels and balance them on a longer rod. So whereas on a traditional, say, 2-weight, 10-foot 2-weight, or 3-weight that does not have a downward or down-locking reel seat, you would need something like a 4 or 5-weight reel to balance out this rod. And there's nothing wrong with using heavier reels, and you actually still might want to fish a 4 or 5-weight reel, or 5-6. That might balance out well. But on a rod like this, where there's a down-locking reel seat, sometimes having the ability to fish a lighter reel, again, having that rod up in the air for longer periods of time, allows you to have less fatigue over the course of the day. So being able to fish, for example, a 3-4 reel that balances the rod out is very beneficial, because oftentimes, these reels are going to be lighter than these reels. So going with a down-locking reel seat puts the weight of the reel further back in the hand, and it allows us to balance a lighter reel, making our overall rig a lot lighter. Moving up, having a no-nonsense blank is often very beneficial for a few reasons. One, it cuts down on weight, but two, it also is less reflective. And having a reel, or having a blank that's less reflective, allows us to get closer to fish, which makes it, in essence, easier to fish. When you're looking at your guides, having oversized guides and having loop guides rather than snake guides is also another easy way to improve your performance, because you're not getting your knots hung up in the rod as easily. And also, by going with these oversized guides rather than smaller snake guides, you're also decreasing the number of hang-ups, like I said, that you could potentially notice over the course of the fight or whatever happens in your fishing. Now, I get often asked questions like, well, if there are 2-weights, 3-weights, and 4-weights, what should I choose? Well, that depends on your scenario and what you typically fish more often. If you're someone that fishes lots of really light lines, like, for example, you're using just a couple of 2 mil beads, or you're using, if you're not using the tungsten bead head, if you're fishing super light rigs, and you're not fishing too many streamers, I think a 2-weight is a phenomenal option. It casts light rigs a lot easier. It's overall a much lighter rod to fish all day, and they're very snappy and very, very sensitive. If you fish heavier rigs, you fish split shot in heavy deep water, you're regularly running into fish 25 inches long, then maybe a 3-weight's the way to go. Fighting a big fish on a 2-weight is actually really nice because you have better tip protection than a 3-weight, but there is something to be said being able to cast really heavy rigs accurately with a 3-weight, but you do lose sensitivity from a 3-weight, or 2 or 3-weight from a 2-weight. Again, this is all super subtle stuff. You can still fish big stuff on a 2-weight, and you can still fish small stuff on a 3-weight. It's just like, there's no perfect rod for everything. You know, you pick one that you're going to fish most often in best scenarios. 4-weight nymph rods, you're looking at fishing streamers a lot, like heavy, you know, like Krylex style streamers on a big jig head. You're looking at lots of split shot, or you're looking at fishing like for, you're nymphing for steelhead or for salmon or something. Maybe not salmon, steelhead, Great Lakes steelhead on the smaller sizes. Or you're, you know, running into big fish, like 30-inch fish all the time, you know. Then a 4-weight might be the way to go. Now remember, we're talking about Euro-specific rods. I'm not talking about your general purpose rod. One reason I like to say, like people say all the time, like, well, I usually fish a 9-foot 6-weight on my Erie tributaries for steelhead. Why would I want to go to a 4-weight Euro rod? Well, with the length of the rod, remember that because the blank is tapered, when you get down to the bottom, we're basically at a 6-weight. And what the nice part is the added length gives you tippet protection because you're going lighter. Now, the essence of Euro nymphing is to use really light tippet and running line. So being able to do so and still feel takes with a light rod and a light action and being able to, it's just it's a completely different game changer to what you're typically used to with conventional nymph fishing. That being said, I'm going to do some reviews on a few of these different nymph rods that I'm getting in, and hopefully you guys can stick around and tell me what you think. Please check out the merch over there and down there. I have a new apparel line, so check those out. Links will be in the description. If you'd like to pick up a hat, you can. They're in olive right now. Link in the below. Patreon. You know, if you want something specifically seen on the channel or me to try something, then head over to the Patreon. We can see what we can make happen. But in the meantime, guys, please give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Check out the other videos in the playlist. And until next time, guys. Catch you guys on the flip side. Tight lines. We're out.